Good afternoon, it's wine o'clock here again at the Wineman's. Today's video, I'm a little bit fed up with wine labels. They drive me crazy and there's a good reason for it. In some wines, we'll use this one. This is from one of my favourite French growers, whom's Chateau l'Estrille Cap Martin, the lovely lady who makes these wines. But because of label laws and tradition, you don't get an awful lot going on here. Whereas with some others, you get an awful lot. And then with others from different parts of the world, you get nothing. We've got two wines here, both from Spain. One is a Fontana Sauvignon Verdeo, says it all over the label, front label. This one is a Chacoli, which is made with Hondarabia Zuri. Hondarabia. And this is a nightmare to try and get to know what is going on. These two both have different labels. This one has loads of stuff it tells you about it. This one has next to nothing. This French one hasn't even got a back label. Who's to know? When you're stuck inside the bottle, how can you possibly sing your song as a wine? How can people know that just because you're a Bordeaux Blanc, that you're made with Semillon or Sauvignon? To me, if I'm looking at this as a wine person who just likes a nice drop of wine, I might look at this and go, oh, what a pretty label. It's got a lovely chateau on the front. Chateau l'Estrille Cap Martin. Sounds lovely. It's an appellation contrôlée. What does that mean? For those people in the non-wine world, the wine world really needs to grow up here. It really needs to put some information, more information on the back. Now, this is a fabulous wine. There's no getting away from it. It's absolutely delightful. But if you don't know that, if there's nothing on this label to tell you anything, then how are you ever going to try it? If you're really interested in the pretty label or, the fact that it's from Bordeaux and it's from France, otherwise all you're going to buy on is price. Now, the problem with labels, this is where I sometimes have a problem with labels. Often, every label is the best wine you're ever going to drink. It's going to swoop in and save your life, and it's just going to be remarkable. I mean, let's look at this back label. Now, this one, again, is a fabulous wine. It's Sauvignon Verdeo. Many people won't know what Verdeo is, but it's a local varietal to Spain. This particular one says, a collection of sustainably grown estate wines. This is a good point, because they're estate wines, and they're sustainably grown. So they're not bringing in all sorts of rubbish going in. Exhibiting great purity and freshness. Another great thing. Really good superlatives there. Grown at an altitude of 750 meters. That's good. High altitude means that the vines are doing well. Not so many bugs up there, which means they don't have to use so many pesticides and things. In the beautiful Dominio di Fontana in the heart of Castile. These wines are a contemporary expression of Spanish wine growing traditions. This all sounds lovely. A crisp, aromatic white wine displaying intense aromas of cut grass and lime with touches of fennel and white pepper. This is sounding good now. Aged on fine lees. What is the lees? The labels sometimes need to explain a little bit more, or maybe give you a website that will explain things like that for you. For 3 months, which is good. They're lying in the lees. What does lees mean? Now, I know what lees means. I've tried to explain it in certain videos, but an awful lot of people don't. For a richer texture and a long mineral finish. All I need to say, which is very, very difficult, and I get that, and luckily on here, there's loads of other bits on this label that tell you all sorts of goodies about this wine. Tells you about the sustainability, tells you about the different awards that they've done. It tells you about the blends, 70% Sauvignon Blanc and 30% Verdeo, because the first named grape variety is the dominant grape variety. This is why you got so many rip-off Pinot Grigios, where they say Pinot Grigio, they say Catarato Pinot Grigio, Inzolia Pinot Grigio, Chardonnay Pinot Grigio, all sorts of different things, but they use the Italian varietals just to confuse you. Because who knows what Catarato is? Who knows what Inzolia is? Unless you're a big aficionado of Italian grapes. Now, look at the Chacoli. You wouldn't know that anything about this wine apart from it's from the Basque region, apart from it's Chacoli, and if you can even say that, and Basque, I love Basque wines, I love Chacoli. This is a fresh, zingy, zippy wine. It's got a real tingle, and it's almost like a pétillance on the tongue. And some people might go, oh, I don't like that spritz, but there's nothing on the label to tell you that. There's nothing on the label to say, there's nothing wrong with this wine. It's really good. It's really fresh. It really zings in your mouth and you're going to love it. It's not sparkling, but it gives you that impression. Now, that's a problem with wines. Now, the other problem, if we go into wine labels and people say to me, well, why doesn't it say about all the additives? Why doesn't it say about the preservatives? Why doesn't it say about the sulfur? All of these things. Sometimes in some of the wines, you need to have a wine label that's about 87 meters long because there's just so much rubbish used in them. And, that's a bit of a problem. So all it says in this is that it's been produced and bottled at the property. So that's a good thing. It's not being shipped off to a great big bottling plant in a great big tanker that chugs along the road. And then it goes into a bottle along with a gazillion other wines that are also bottled in that bottling plant. At least this one is grown and bottled at the estate. Now, don't get me wrong. These are 3 cracking wines that I sell. I love all of these wines. What I don't love is the labels and the problems that the growers have with the labels and why they're not embracing. In some cases, they're victims of the bottling line. In some cases, they're victims of the price because these labels are not cheap. Some of the labels, I don't know if any of these have got it on, but some of the labels are in Braille as well. These particular ones don't. So, that costs money. These are good quality labels. Look at the lovely shiny blue thing there, the nice strip. That's to draw your eye in. That's what they call a shelf talker. And it just draws the eye in a little bit. Sometimes they use a little dot up here. These are from the art world where people have done these things. Obviously in the Basque wine here, you've got the individual fonts that are used in it as well, and it's all very, very good. But when you come to say German wine, the German wines, God, sometimes you look at them and you think, what does all of this mean? What is Cabernet? What is Trocken Beer and Auslese? What is Beer and Auslese? But you wouldn't know, but they are quality grades. And I think the wine industry really needs to embrace things a little bit more and start to help the buyers who don't know, the buyers who want to know this wine, it's bloody good wine, tastes really good, tastes like this. It's not going to kill you. It's not going to ruin your head. Sometimes it will. Because you're never ever going to see on the back of a label, this wine will give you a stinking headache. They're never going to do it, even though it will. Now, this wine won't, but some of the cheaper wines will. So, but they're not going to do that because that's marketing. So the only way is to get behind the label, into the actual bottle itself, to see if what is inside is right for you. And it's a difficult one. I know it is. I'm sorry. I just had to have a rant today. Not so nice, not so happy-go-lucky wine man today. This was just a little bit of a problem, and I just wanted to try and see if I could help you out with a little bit of knowledge on it. It isn't too much. I'll expand on this a little bit more, and we'll start to break down the mystique behind the wine label. But that's it for today. Cheers.